Okay, so we are rocking and rolling this morning. Matt Roberts here with the Complete Athlete, and I am here with a good friend of mine, former college teammate, Mr. Cory Hinton. So first off, man, I want to welcome you. I want to say thank you for your time this morning, Mr. Hinton. And tell us, man, what's it feel like to be on the Complete Athlete right now?
That feels awesome, man. I really see what you guys are doing on Facebook. I try to keep up and share things because it's something that we all could use and something we could especially use in my field. But, you guys are my friends too, so it's good to see what you guys are doing. It's good to believe in each other too. So
that's what it's all about, man, because I think we share a common belief. We share a common vision that we want for future athletes. And, just to give you a little bit of background on Mr. Hinton here, we played college baseball together, I guess, 14 years ago now?
Long time.
Long time ago, back at Surrey Community College. And, man, that was a heck of a time, dude. I really enjoyed that. We had a talented team, brother.
Yeah, we did. I think we won, 54 games? Something like that.
I don't know, man. We were talented.
You guys did,
It was a blast. And,
it's fun.
I don't think I'd ever thought that we'd have been where we are today doing a little interview.
No.
But great times. But my man here is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're leading the Rock Hill portion of FCA, correct?
Yeah, so I'm an area representative here in York County. So there's Rock Hill High, there's Northwestern, there's South Point High School, there's York High School, there's Clover High School, there's Fort Mill High School, there's Nations Ford High School, and soon to be Catawba Ridge High School. So there's a lot of high school athletes around here that we're trying to get to. So
that is awesome, man. That is awesome, and I'm sure a lot of you out there know FCA is a huge organization. And if you can, Cory, man, just tell us a little bit about what you do with the athletes, with the high school athletes, man.
Yeah, so at FCA, my job is to get out there and just be involved with them. We believe to and through the coach, engage and equip them, just to bleed into them. Like is what I like to say, and use our experience just to pour into athletes and coaches. And so through that, we believe we can bring them closer to Christ. And with sports being such a big window and such a big influencer here in town, you have a lot of people that would like to try to come along, and we believe in that too. So we're an inclusive group, and we teach currently I teach a course called 3-dimensional coaching. And it's another dimension of coaching that most folks may not get a chance to see. And it's just a way to have coaches have an outlet in their own life and to build into those kids. So we believe getting to the coach first, and through getting to the coach, we get to the athletes and affecting coach's life and allowing coach to go off on trainings with not trainings, but just spending time with his wife on couples weekends. And it's a big aspect of coaching that we see that people don't really get a chance to spend more time with their family because they're giving up so much of their own life to be with the athletes. So that's kind of FCA in a nutshell, but we just believe that through sports and through coaches we can reach more kids for Christ, and that's a life goal of mine. I think it aligns with who I work for. So
definitely, man. Oh, I think that's awesome, dude. I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm a believer myself, man. I go to church every Sunday. I can't say back in our Surrey days.
No, I wouldn't have been there either.
And I understood it quite like you do now.
Yeah.
But I think you hit the nail on the head, man, because one thing with the Complete Athlete, we got a motto: talent isn't enough. And we stress, man, it's about the intangible aspects of an athlete that really take them to the next level.
Yeah.
The leadership, desire, coachability, man, whether it's mindset, nutrition, and more importantly right now, I believe, faith. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. And, that can go into mindset, that can go into leadership, that can go across several different principles. But I don't think back in our day at Surrey and then in Pembroke, going through college baseball, I understood exactly how important it was.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
And, growing up, man, I don't know, you can talk a little bit about your experience with baseball growing up, but for me, it was just, hey, man, give 100% effort, work hard, don't expect anything to be given to you, and then go out there and try your best to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, in my experience growing up, it's a pretty good athlete, and just spent time being the good athlete, not on various things that were outside that could have helped me. So, at some point in time, you reach the peak of your athleticism. That could be in middle school. That could be in T-ball. That could be in high school. Or it could be in college, or for some in major leagues. But for me, I think you reach a peak in my experience. And then after that, you kind of have to look for things like an FCA or a complete athlete or individuals that have been through it before. Life is about having other people build you up. So it's oftentimes those that come along that help you out the most in life. And so, meeting people where they are, I guess, so to speak. But as that athlete growing up, reached the peak, actually athletics led me to North Greenville, where I learned quite a bit about religion. But, if I hadn't have been through that experience, I wouldn't have probably be working for FCA. You never know, or talking, who knows, like we said earlier. But, definitely not at Surrey, man. I mean, there was times I was going through a deep depression at the time. And so without having a guy that lived above me share Christ with me that day, I probably definitely wouldn't be sitting here, and definitely wouldn't have continued to play baseball. You just reach a low point sometimes, and if you're not open to hearing different ways, such as the complete athlete or an FCA experience that comes along with that, or hearing from other individuals and being an open-mindedness to get that peace that really helps an athlete. I see the peace that comes along with it that helps athletes, and I think that's something I could have used when I was younger.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. I know, like, going through baseball, and when you go through sports, man, it's competitive, and I think that's what we all feed off of, most importantly.
Sure.
But it can be some stress involved, man. It can be that aspect of you're going out there and you feel like the weight of the world can be on your shoulders.
Yeah,
and
definitely. Yeah.
Biggest things for me, once I accepted Christ, was you realize what's important. You realize priorities. You realize that the weight is not on your shoulders. And if anything, man, that frees you up. And as athletes, when you free up and you clear that mind, that's when you're at your peak performance.
Yeah, so some of the things I go out and speak to the kids about, they say if you're not pouring into yourself, then you can't pour into others. So I started reading a lot of Tim Tebow's books, and one of his things is, you got to remember whose you are and, not so much who you think you are. So, and I think that's a good aspect for young athletes to know, hey, it's not just about me. It's I belong to Christ. And so Tim Tebow is a great example of that. I mean, you could go for days, Mariano Rivera. There's just so many athletes that have such a great Christ-like background. And Christ-like could be centered around, I got to be perfect, or, man, I can't do this, can't do that. It's really not a list of things you can and cannot do. It's more so just a mindset, like you said, a peacekeeping, peaceful headspace that you kind of get in. A lot of people – run through things like, I hate to say a yoga class, or you'll see people chasing it down through, meditation, which is great. Meditation is something good too, but the true peace that you get from following Christ and learning more about it, and when you actually receive and get that, is something that I believe can make a huge difference in your athletic life. And something, looking back on mine, I wish I had earlier, not that I didn't, but I just ran from it, man. And so running from it, you kind of get scared because you look at it as a list of things you can and cannot do. But this is just really, Christ wanting to come alongside you and who you are and meet you where you are. And so, it's not the prosperity gospel either. You want to be real, but it's something that you can go back to. You make an error, it's not the end of the world. So.
Well, I think it's, I always say you don't know what you don't know. And probably early on in our life, we just didn't know. And I think that's where it's our job and our responsibility now through FCA, through the complete athlete, is to really pass that baton to the next generation and say, hey, guys, we're not that far removed from it.
Nope.
We might have a little gray, but here's what we want to pass on. Here's what we want to, teach you. Here's what we wish we would have known.
Sure.
And
I mean, it's evident, Matt. Go ahead. it's evident to me that even through some of the pro athletes that we've come across, you and I have talked about some we know, but there's some that I know that have made it all the way to the top, man, and have came back down, and so they shared their experiences, and it's oftentimes the same experience you and I had. Yep. It was just at a different level. So you have all these different levels, but you have a shared experience between those levels. And so it's the same thing that they said when they found Christ. I mean, these are major league guys on TV, you have those guys, then you have us, right? But it's the same shared, we're all in the same kind of boat here. And so,
your talent separates you, right? You mentioned it earlier. Your talent can only take you so far. One day it's going to run out, and one day your playing time will run out. But it's what you go through as an athlete that I think we all share, whether it's the competition, whether it's the struggle, whether it's once you get done with athletics, where do you go?
It's true. You got to have most people say I don't have no plan B. Where there's, Alex Bregman says, I never had a plan B. I just wanted to go through and always said I was going to be a baseball player. Well, I'm glad that one person worked out. But in reality, that's really not most likely going to be the case. I'm all for chasing dreams, chase them because you never know where you'll end up. But chase it with Christ, in my opinion, and what I believe in. So chase it with Christ, seek outside sources. I think you'll find your way a little bit easier. So.
Well, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. And so you deal with a lot of high school athletes. And so what do you see out there, man? What do you, I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm an assistant coach here at the local high school, so I see a lot as well. But what do you see right now that athletes really, really need, to go to that next level?
So for athletes, that I see a lot that I'm dealing with locally. And so right now we're in preseason workouts for baseball, like you said, with your coaching. I see a lot of athletes, and they'll be your best, physical prowess, man. I mean, there's a couple kids, they're like well over 6'3". They just pop it with the ball. I'm warming up with them, and I'm dying. My hands are hurting. I'm like, wow, these kids are crazy, right? And I look at them, I'm like, how old is that kid? They say 16. And I'm like, man, if I had the body, man, if I had this, man, if I had that, And so you hear the Lord say to yourself, well, there's something behind it, because you can almost see the difference in athletes and their expressions. And so, I work with guys and work with coaches and say, hey, what's this guy's story? What's that guy's story? And so what I'm seeing now, I think when you're a young athlete, you're 16 to 18, and now some of them are even 14, 15 playing on high school teams. It's insane. There's no shortage of phenomenal talent in this world. Okay, there's no shortage of that. I used to think maybe there was. It's not true. There are so many talented kids. Okay, but that's where the point is. You and I are talking about where outside resources. Sometimes it can be who you know, but it doesn't have to be. You can make yourself better. And so I see a lot of young athletes bringing in things from outside. So it might be a girlfriend. I see a lot of home life brought to the field. And so that gets in the way. If you take a course of a week and you spend time with the kids, you can see, they'll have one day to the next. It's a totally different emotional base. And for me, I'm trying to instill into, through the coaches, but I'm trying to instill for those guys something that's consistent. And so for us, it's having a relationship with Christ. I think consistency at this point in a young life is very, very important. Without consistency for you and I, even as adults, young adults, we have to have that now to survive. Okay, we had to learn that through struggles, right? So sometimes you want to believe that if you instill that early on in a young athlete, man, there's no way you can't tell me they have a leg up already. And so I think just consistency for the kids is something that they really, really need. And that's something that FCA is trying to do. And it's through going to practices. Don't get me wrong. I love living the old school days. No, I haven't taken BP again yet or nothing like that. But the body just isn't there. But, living it up and going and talking to the guys every day, just providing consistency in their life, man, and being able to share Christ in those moments. There's certain times where they may come to you and you can just tell. I think it's a gift that some guys like us have. You know, I see it in a lot of preachers. Sorry, I see it in a lot of preachers. They have the ability just to read people, man, and is what led me to Christ as a guy from FCA. So that's, you know, on the field at 16 years old. So that's just what I believe. That's what I see. I think we need to provide more consistency. The shortage of talent is not true. It's out there. There's tons of them. It's all over the place.
There's talent everywhere, man. I look at
what's going to make the difference, man.
I look at some of these boys right now that I'm coaching, and, you know, I think you hit me on the head: consistency and structure. You know, they go hand in hand. Yeah. And I look at some of these boys I'm coaching right now, and they're sophomores and juniors, and I'm just like, these boys got talent. You know, how they perform on the field and so forth, that could be, you know, that's to be determined. But I'm like, man, they're farther along than I was.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean,
you know?
Physically and you know, just talent alone for sure. But you have that emotional piece and that consistency piece. And you can't get that unless you're looking for resources in the right direction, man. So,
you know, that leads me, you know, I'm gonna dig a little deeper on you.
All right.
With FCA, man, for a young athlete, for someone looking to go to that next level, how does faith help them out with that?
Faith, I think, you know, just in general, you know, again, going back to the consistency, when I found, you know, the best year I ever had in college was probably my junior year. Man, it was really when I honed in and had a bigger relationship with Christ. I'm not saying that, and I tell the kids this: you're not going to drop more bombs. You're not going to hit more doubles.
You mean if I pray to God to run, He's not going to bless me?
Yeah, right. Yeah, but he could. He very well could, man. He could lift that ball right out. You could swing with your eyes closed and hit a bomb or hit a home run. Surely that could happen. But, you know, I see it time and time again. And in my own life, I even had it to that point prior to an injury that set off another set of life events. You know, but anyway, I've never met anyone that's made a mistake by following Christ or you know, saw it as a mistake or regretted it. You're going to go through things, but you know, it's definitely not a mistake to try to find Christ. And so through FCA is a perfect venue. You know, looking back on my life, everything that is good and great in my sports life was used through FCA. And, you know, when I felt the call to go into a ministry lifestyle, it's a scary thing sometimes. But when you feel that, I look back on my own life and the impact that FCA had on me. And so got involved with FCA. And so hopefully, I don't know if that answered your question or not, but maybe I need to clarify. But,
well, I mean, I just think having that faith, man, because you're going to go through struggles in life, just like you are on the baseball field, football field. You're going to go through slumps. You're going to go through times where it just doesn't work. And I think having that faith and that belief of there's something, you know, greater, and that it's going to be okay to struggle. It's going to be okay.
Sure.
That it gets you through it. It keeps your mind right. And I always say in athletics, short-term memory. Forget the good, forget the bad.
Yeah.
Be ready right now.
Yeah, the best way, you're right, man. I think that having that basis of Christ in your life and having, you know, something, I don't want to say to fall back on, but just a way, the truth to lead yourself. Because you're going to have to lead yourself at some point in your life. Why not start now and see what kind of difference it can make in your life? I mean, I can't imagine. Can you imagine what kind of talent could explode with these kids that have the talent already if they accepted and had the peace of mind? The peace of mind that comes along with this at that point, it'd be insane. Man.
I mean, I look at all the talent I've seen playing ball, you know, coaching, going through JUCO, because most people don't realize JUCO was full of talent. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, man. Unreal, dude. Yeah.
And most of the time it was just what was between the ears right here. You know, what was the mind that held people back? I mean, we can talk about people all day. We're not We've all seen people that we were like, man, they got more talent in their pinky right now than we got in our body. And it's like they're just they couldn't get that clarity, man. They couldn't get that consistency. They couldn't get that structure of having that faith and belief and really being able to perform to their max ability. And I mean, for me, as a coach now, and I know someone you're in, that's tough to look at when you know there's more there in a kid than what they're able to give you. you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, something athletics teaches us. I think it's taught both of us is, life skills. So
Yeah.
the things, the ups and downs we had have taught us how to battle in life. And so just that piece, that mindset is something that I do spread amongst the kids to try to tell them, hey, there's a great piece, there's a great concentration that comes from that. Illustration-wise, if you see an athlete walking up with a big, hate to put it this way, but if you see them with a big suitcase full of, let's say, Cheetos or something, it's going to hold you down. You're not going to be able to run as fast. Your mind is the control center. It truly is.
Yep.
And there's so many ways that people are trying to reach out to you, and faith is such a big part of being a complete athlete. And it's something I definitely would believe in. And so FCA allows us to do that. But there's also venues like the Complete Athlete that people should pay attention to that are trying to fit in that circle, but are doing it with faith. And so anything back with faith, I think the Lord will bless, man. So
you got to answer one question for me.
What's up?
And I can't let this go without bringing it up. Surrey.
What's up?
Right?
Yeah.
The Mitchell River, trout fishing.
Yeah.
Did you have faith
What's
that
up?
day? Did you have faith that day when the man pulled up?
Man, I think a day I'll never forget, man. Probably more scared that day that I was going to go to jail, right? I think I asked you, am I going to jail today? I think I was white in the face, and I don't even know if I had my ID, and you were just like over there, man, just calm as could be, just typical you, just calm as could be, like, man, you ain't going to jail, man. You'll be fine, man. I don't even remember what the guy did, man.
I don't know. And just for those of you out there watching, we were trout fishing. We had a little stream. We go trout fishing. And so me and Cory there, we were fishing, and we've been catching some fish. And we were sitting right there. Next thing you know, the man pulls up, the game warden. And so we're 18. I'm sitting there. I got my license and everything. And Cory had his, but they just weren't on him. And he's looking at me about to freak out, like, what do I do? I don't have it.
Yep, that's true, man. It's like, we ain't going to jail today, but I'll never forget how calm you were that day, man. What a beautiful place. I'd love to just go back there and just walk around, man, to take my kids now. But
that was awesome.
I think about that place.
I don't think we realized what we had in our hands right then and there.
We didn't, man. We didn't. Both ways, good and bad.
But I had to bring that up, man. I had to bring that up. So before we get off, man, we're gonna shut this bad boy down. How can kids or athletes, right? How can they get involved in FCA? How, if they're, whether they're in Hillsborough, whether they're in Rock Hill, wherever, anybody that watches this, if they want to get involved in FCA, how do they do that?
I think something that we do a good job with Fellowship of Christian Athletes is having those folks that love their area be involved in their area through FCA. So I would go to, your local school, your high school, even your middle school, and even the elementary schools now, and try to plug in to the group that you have there. We call them huddle groups. Most schools have those. If not, you can blast out some information of mine, and I can plug you into your local FCA leader. And, really, it's one of those things that can help as an athlete. Start your own. Pick up the pieces and start your own huddle. We have resources online. But I guarantee in most cases there's going to be an FCA huddle leader in your area. And we're trying to work with high schools constantly and getting in there and just spreading the love of Christ, man. And so if there's a need somewhere that we're not there, let us know. We will get there.
Awesome, man.
Just let me know if there's somebody.
I'll be sure to put your information in the comments, when we post this and so forth. Make sure you got all your information. So if anybody needs you, they can contact you. But, once again, man, I appreciate it, dude. We've known each other for a while, all together, had some good stories. Look forward to many years to come.
Yeah, man.
And, once again, man, from the Complete Athlete, from FCA, talent isn't enough, people. Talent is not enough. We all have talent. We all have ability. but it's what the intangibles bring to your life. You know, today we talked about faith, whether it's leadership, mindset, coachability, desire. But today was about faith. Today was about the mental clarity that it brings, the structure, the consistency that it can bring to your life on and off the field. And as an athlete, we all know, you clear the mind, you get loose, you play your best. So, lessons learned. FCA can change your life, right? Faith can change your life. And lastly, if you go trout fishing in Surrey, make sure you have a license on you.
Bring your license.
Bring your license. If not, just be with a buddy like myself. Just come cool.
Professional, yeah.
But
yep.
Matt Roberts, complete athlete. Cory Hinton, my buddy, my friend, FCA. Appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.